Welcome to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you about 5 new side hustles that could be big for people over 50. And when I say big, I mean this. I believe if you put the time into it, you can make some good money, real good money with these side hustles. I know that they are definitely not the run-of-the-mill side hustle. They're not what you're used to seeing on probably a lot of other YouTube channels. But let me say this, these side hustles are really rocking. But there is one, I'll say, caveat. You are going to have to apply yourself to learning some new technology. And when I say learning new technology, all I'm really talking about is maybe having to learn a new app, and quite possibly, you already know the app, so there's not going to be a whole lot of learning curve there. But regardless of all that, you get out of something what you put into it. I'm going to tell you about 5 new side hustles that could be big for people over 50, and that, my friends, is up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV, where we provide essential work and money tips for people over 50. And listen, before I get on to telling you about 5 new side hustles that could be big for people over 50, let me just ask you to subscribe to our channel. If you would do that by hitting that little red button, it's underneath the screen. There's also a little bell. If you hit that little bell, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be notified in your inbox. So let's get to side hustle number 1. Become a reseller of other people's junk. So what does a reseller of other people's junk do? Well, what you do is you make money helping other people sell things that they want to get rid of. You know, most of us have closets or garages full of stuff that we no longer need or we don't want. The problem, though, at least for me anyway, and I know a lot of you out there, is you're too busy. You're too busy to put those items on Craigslist, or maybe you don't even want to put them on eBay. Now, that's where you come in. You do that for them, and you get a cut of whatever is sold. And I recommend, by the way, asking for at least 50%. Now, keep in mind, you're not buying and you're not flipping this stuff. You know, some people do that, and they definitely earn a big buck. And by the way, I produced a video on garage flipping. If that's something that you want to look at, I'll put a link in the description box. But the difference here is between garage flipping and becoming a seller of other people's junk, you don't own it. You're basically acting as a middleman, and you're making money doing it. So as I tell you about this, one thing I want to mention, the technology that's required. When I mentioned it in the beginning, you've got to know how to use Craigslist, which really isn't difficult to do. You can learn that pretty quickly. But you should also want to know eBay. Now, that takes a little bit more time, but you can certainly use eBay. You just shoot some great pictures and you post them. So how do you really get started doing something like this? Well, you find a friend or 2 or 3, and you just call them. You email them, you contact them, and you ask them if they have some items that they want to sell, they want to get rid of, and let them know that you will do that for them. And all you want for your trouble, is 50%. That's it, 50%. You don't have to worry about stocking it. You don't have to worry about somebody coming to your home and picking it up, because they're going to their property, their home, or their garage, and they're picking the item up. It's a great way for you to make money, and if you build that into a business and you have a nice platform on an eBay where you sell things on a regular basis, you can really build a nice side hustle that could turn into a full-time gig. Side hustle idea number 2, become a podcast editor. Now, I know there's people out there probably saying, Lou, what does a podcast editor do? Well, you take a podcaster's audio file, you delete the mistakes, and then you make it sound great. It's really that simple. Now, let me say this to you. I've been producing well over 200 videos over the course of just over 2, maybe 2.5 years. It takes a lot of time shooting the video. It takes even more time editing the video. And I have to pay, sometimes I do pay people to help me to edit the videos, because I just get so backlogged or inundated with work. Yeah, I need the help. Well, you know, there are lots of podcasters out there too who need the help. They need someone to help them to edit their audio files. So you're going to be asking, well, how do I edit audio files or podcast files? Well, you use audio software like GarageBand or Adobe Audition. And these programs allow creators to create, record, and edit. What you'll do is you'll learn how to use this program. And GarageBand is so common out there. I would think even people who, like us, people who are a little bit older, maybe already know how to use a program like GarageBand. But once you know how to do that and you really learn that program, then what you do is you contact podcasters. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to contact one of your favorite podcasters, or you can go on Apple Podcast or Google Podcast or Audible or Spotify to find a podcaster. And then what you do is you just tell them, hey, I know how to use this app, or I use this particular app. I'm pretty good with it. And if you need some help, I'd be happy to edit your podcast. So what do you charge a podcaster for editing or cleaning up their file? Well, I suggest charging around $25 to $35 per hour at minimum. And of course, you can charge more. The idea here, though, is to pick up a few podcasters. And always you're going to want to start out with one at a time. But as you get comfortable with the program, as you become faster, you can pick up more and more business. Podcasting is a $1 billion industry, and it's growing. At last count, there were over 2 million podcasts and over 48 million episodes. So chances are you're not going to run out of work. Side hustle idea number 3, become a community manager. So what does a community manager do? Well, a community manager manages a creator's online community. And communities are really simply just groups of fans that can be found on platforms like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and a host of other platforms. But a community manager really helps a creator maintain and build their community. And usually what they do is they respond to fan mail or maybe business inquiries. A good community manager could even create, schedule, and post the creator's content. Now, it's easy to get started in this area. All you do is you contact a creator or an online group and you let them know that you're a fan, and you'd be excited if they hired you to manage your community. Of course, one thing I'll say is it does help, or would help, if you're already involved in the community. It just lets them know that, hey, I know your community, I'm familiar with them, and I'm sure that I can help you to build your community. What do you need to know to become a community manager? Well, you should know the platform or platforms that they use to engage with their community. And it would certainly help if you were proficient with Hootsuite or Buffer.com. Now, those platforms allow you to make one post that is dispersed to all their social media accounts. It just makes it more efficient, and it certainly helps or makes your job easier. How do you get paid? Well, you charge an hourly fee, and I'll say this, I would charge nothing less than $25 to $35 per hour. You could go as high as $45 to $50. It really depends on how much easier you make that creator's life. But I will say to you, if you get enough creators, you can earn a pretty good living becoming a community manager. Side hustle idea number 4, become an online course creator. An online course creator helps anyone with a large following or a large email list create online courses that they can sell. For example, a realtor who's been around a long time, has got a lot of knowledge about home buying, got a big customer list, but you know what? They just don't have the time to create a course. Even though they've got the knowledge, even though they have the expertise, they don't have the time to create a course that would generate even more money for them. And that's where you come in. You contact them, you say that you have this expertise, you know some of the programs that will allow you to create a great course for them, and you offer your service. Now, before you contact a realtor or a social media influencer, before you offer your service, you're going to want to learn one of the powerful online course creation platforms, and they're not that difficult to learn. One of the most popular is Teachable. There's Udemy, and there's also Skillshare. Now, I'm a big fan of Teachable. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use Teachable to create some of my online courses. So how do you get paid? How do you get paid for creating an online course for a realtor or some social media influencer? Well, you'll charge a setup fee, and then what I suggest is you ask for a percentage of the revenue. Now, there's big bucks here. You can make a good amount of income, especially if you get a number of creators, a number of whether it's realtors or social media influencers or even book authors. I've got an author here. I'm going to throw a free plug out to this guy, to Richard Bell. Richard created this book, and if anybody should, in my opinion, be creating some courses, I think Richard should do that. But yeah, you can make some good money by acquiring more clients. And of course, what you'll do is you'll learn. And as you learn, you'll be able to produce those courses a lot quicker. You'll be more efficient and you'll make money. Side hustle idea number 5. And I'm not telling you this or suggesting this idea because I'm a former publisher of a chain of business-to-business magazines. And I'm not just telling you this because I just did a video on the Motley Fool Stock Advisor newsletter. And I'm not telling you this because I just saw a video about becoming a publisher of newsletters and saw all the money that you can make. No, I'm telling you this because I really do believe and know it's a very good idea for you to get into this type of business. If you have a skill, if you have some knowledge, if you have something that you can share with other people that they're willing to pay you for. For example, maybe you are a model train enthusiast and you know this hobby inside and out, or you're an expert at preparing Cajun food and you know some delicious recipes. Why not share that information? You know, in one of our YouTube videos, we told you about a woman who became an expert at growing succulent plants. She decided one day to share her skills on YouTube, and she built a multi-channel business that generates hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in income. And you know what? She also sends out newsletters, and she makes money. She charges for the subscription. Charging or becoming a newsletter publisher is a way for you to share your information, to share your knowledge, to share your expertise, and to make money doing it. So how do you get started creating a newsletter? Well, I suggest you use a program called Canva. I use this program virtually every single day. I have design experience, yeah, but you know what? Even if you don't have design experience, they have custom templates that you can use to create a really cool looking newsletter. But first, I do suggest this. I suggest that you build a mailing list because you're going to need it to mail out to people. You can use MailChimp or ConvertKit. I use ActiveCampaign just because I like the intuitive automations. But it's a bit more complicated than, say, the other two. But regardless of that, probably a real good idea to learn or to have some knowledge of a mailing list or an email software program. Now, the last question that you might have is, well, Lou, how do I get paid? Well, I suggest anyway, you charge a small subscription fee. Maybe it's an annual fee or maybe every 6 months kind of fee. I would start out with no less than every 6 months, but you charge a small fee. Maybe you charge $5. Well, you get 100 people at $5. That really adds up. That's $500. Now, over time, if your information is good, if it's quality, if it helps people, which is always going to be the key, if it helps people, you'll build that list up and you'll, of course, increase your income. Well, there you go, folks. I just gave you 5 new side hustles that could be big for people over 50. Now, I did go into them rather quickly. I plan to go a lot deeper into these side hustle ideas on our Side Hustle Theater Patreon page. If you would like more information on these side hustles, you can join us on Patreon by clicking on the link that I'll put in the description box. Well, that's all I've got for you today, as I said, but I will ask you one more thing before I forget. If you would, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel by hitting that little red button. It's underneath the screen. There's also a little bell. If you hit that little bell, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be notified in your inbox. Well, as I always say, have a great day, everybody.